Hello, this is Michelle with the Glimmers of Intuition. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to talk about how I changed my perspective on kind of my mindset and the two areas of my life that were less desirable for most of my life. I'm going to talk about love and I'm going to talk about money. And what I've learned when I've, kind of had more mindset shifts in my favor is that these both are actually very well connected. And the reason being is it kind of comes from beliefs around your worth, where if you didn't think you were worthy or you didn't think you were deserving, but even with that, the good news is you can start a practice to kind of shift those beliefs in your favor. Now, how to do this is very simple, but my main stress here is to be very gentle with yourself, like you're going into something that your body's not used to. So you may have some pushback. And also, too, when you're creating something new, you just want to continue to be gentle with yourself. And that, if it's a new routine but I'm here to tell you, if you remain consistent, and it's not about being perfect, it's more of just honoring yourself and honoring yourself in a better mindset. Like for me, I have a winning mindset. And what that means is, even if I experience something that I don't want to experience, I have this pep talk within myself that I'm like, no, this is going to turn in your favor. I kind of don't give power to what is happening in front of me. Instead, I go within and I tell myself what is going to happen. And I'm not saying it like from like I have a crystal ball and I think that not in that. It's more of to just build up my confidence in more of what I do want to experience rather than what I don't. And a lot of times we think that we lack things, and really you don't. In love, when I realized that, love around me is coming from the love and the joy inside of me, that was a game changer. That allowed me to realize that all these people that were reflecting love to me, it's because I myself was loving me. And I look at reality as a mirror. So if you go into it where, you're telling yourself, like, let's say you work in customer service and you're like, all these people are mad, all these people are bad, or whatever the story may be going, you're going to experience some mad, bad, whatever. But if you go the other way and you tell yourself, no, people are good, people are easy to get along with. I'm easy to get along with. When you start having these internal discussions and you consistently have these discussions, that is what is going to be mirrored back to you. For the longest time, I remember back in my 20s, I did not have a good internal self-talk. I was talking trash most of the time. And it wasn't to other people, it was to myself, where I would say things like, oh, Michelle, I can't believe you did that. That's so stupid. And it sounds very subtle, but if you continue that, then that's what your mind believes. But the cool thing is, you are so powerful that if you change the narrative and you start telling yourself things that you want to desire, like, let's say, you receive a bill from out of the blue and it's not what you expected. If you tell yourself, okay, and you don't have to be fake happy. It's not about being fake positive. It's just about being real and being yourself, being authentic. Because when you are authentic, everybody around you picks up on that. And it allows them the space for them to be authentic. And, for the longest time, I thought, because I was divorced, because I had to file bankruptcy, because I had all these things, that I just wasn't lovable, that I wasn't. And I realized that I have so much to give, and having a growth mindset and being solution-based is very, very attractive. And I've had that reflected back to me too. So, a lot of times when you're in something that's undesirable or you're feeling anxious, that's okay. You know, you're human. You're here having the human experience. But take a deep breath and realize, okay, where is this coming from? You know, and a lot of times you'll realize that, and especially now that I've been fortunate to have more financial success, I've been able to kind of have those discussions like, no, I have enough. That's another limiting belief that a lot of people have, that they just don't have enough. And when you tell yourself, no, I do have enough, you know, and you keep repeating it, and your mind may not believe it at first, and that's okay. But it's the repetition is what's going to get you to where you're wanting something more desirable. Because it's all about, you know, regulating your nervous system to allowing these new beliefs to be real for you. Because when you want to introduce a new belief system and you're not used to it, your mind automatically, to protect you, is going to like push it back out. It's going to be like, no, that's not true for you and us. Like, we ain't doing that. And, you know, that's a lot of times where you'll experience, you know, they talk about the healthy relationship is the hardest after, you know, kind of going through something really toxic. That is why, because subconsciously you will push away, you know, let's say you have a partner that's healthy, perfect for you, everything that you wanted, you know, like you had your list and it was everything. If you don't have your beliefs in alignment, you are going to push that away. And they call that self-sabotage, which I look at it as both. I look at it as self-sabotage, but I look at it as it's because your mind is trying to protect you, because it's not used to, you know, when things are going right and things are going positively and you were in a space for so long where they were not, you know, that's triggering. You know, those stories, those fears are going to come up, but you just want to stay the course and tell yourself, no, this is true for me now. No, love works out for me now. No, I do have enough money. No, I do get chosen for the job. No, things are working in my favor. And it has to, this is where it's the paradox. What is going on in front of you isn't going to be in your favor sometimes, but you got to persist through going, no, even though, you know, make everything that is in front of you work for you. And what I mean by that is, if you have an undesirable circumstance, you go, no, I may not like what's going on here. I ain't going to give it any more power than it already has. I'm going to go in this direction. And when you direct your mind into what you do want to experience, believe it or not, that's when you start having breakthroughs and it becomes normal for you. And then it becomes easier, because I talk about on my channel kind of how we want to regulate our nervous system when we're doing belief work. The cool thing is, once you get to a point where you don't have to consistently regulate, because it's normal for you to get what you want. You identify as a winner, you know. And when I started doing that, I still do breath work every now and then just to kind of keep myself regulated, because you know, that's just some of my limiting beliefs I'm working through, that I don't want it to go back to the way I used to think. You know, I want to wake up refreshed. I don't want to wake up anxious, you know. And that to me is the goal, that you're here to, you know, live life to the fullest and to connect to people at the highest. And what I mean by that is, when you're good, when you're secure in yourself, when you feel loved, that's when you can experience that with everybody around you. So thank you for joining me today. Until next video, take care.